I will start with a small story. The story that happened in my class. Few years ago, when after taking my lecture, a small young student, I would rather say, just came to me with a notebook. The notebook which was having some notes taken from my lecture. Very confidently he walked to me, but there was a kind of hesitant when he posed me a question. He said, "Ma'am, can I ask you something?" I said, "Yes." And the question that he asked was, "Is this going to come in exam?" And that touched me like anything. Because education is not for the exams, right? How education is transforming between the world. We as an educators, right? We in and out are the connectors, are the line between the world that students see nowadays. For them, there is only one world of education that exists, and that is the world where they learn, they memorize, prepare for exams, marks, grades, certificates, graduations. But my dear students, parents, and other colleagues sitting over here, education is beyond this. There is another world, the world of developing curiosity, creativity, experiencing the real world, right? If you have a knowledge, this is a world of AI, generative AI. You all know what to get information and from where to get. Yes, at a click of uh, a button, it's just your tablet away or your phone away that you get all kind of informations, right? But that is the gain knowledge. How about application? Where are you going to apply this knowledge? Is something that the theme connects and that an educator creates a bridge for this between the two worlds. The world of information to world of explanation, of understanding, between the world of technology, innovations, to our cultural roots, right? How the bridge is created by an educator is more important than how much marks is gained in exams. I hope each one of you agree with this. Yes? One more example I can cite here. I handholded certain students. Of course, as an educator, it's my duty to handhold students and give them that confidence that they can become stage fear free. And that has got me here on the TEDx platform. My own students have invited me. They have created that impact that they are able to create the events like this. Developing a self-confidence is more important as an educator rather than delivering just lectures. If we go back to our traditions, if we go back to our history, I hope everyone knows Chanakya. The way he created entire empire for his student. This is what a strength of an educator is. And he is the line between the two worlds of student. Further, if I have to go ahead, when we are talking about the way they said interdisciplinary. Quand je parlais en français, ce sera très différent. Be assured. How I got this French language? When I did my master's in law, I thought, what criminal mind is going on? And that gave me a curiosity to learn psychology. When I was learning psychology, major words, right, in law and psychology gave me one more connection. I got one more line connected to learn this language. And this is how I want all of you to understand that when you are thinking about just getting into one discipline, do not forget the world, the future which is asking you is not about one discipline. It has to be interdisciplinary. Just for an example, there's a fault in technology, maybe any kind of fraud happening, right? Is it only happening, the failures of AI, for example, is it only impacting the technological aspects? It is also touching psychology, it is also touching the languages, it is also touching what you call is the social environment. If I have to quote one more example, the group of students who were given, the group of students who were given a project to find out the sustainable option for meeting the crisis, water crisis in their small town, created the rainwater harvesting system. Now this is where I want to connect from what you call is the culture, the tradition which is taken into the innovation. Today I am also going to talk about how the world is changing. The job perspective that you will have in future will be something very different than what we are facing, right? There will be certain jobs which will go extinct and there will be addition of the job which is not existing now, right? So between the worlds of this generation needs to understand that curiosity is the only answer. If you are not curious while sitting, if you are not questioning anything, then there is a problem. Either you have not understood, or maybe as an educator, I have failed to explain something. Fine? So curiosity, it was some scientist curiosity that has given a result of what we are experiencing today, right? So many scientists just had a curiosity why the apple fall and we got the law. Now how to apply that law? We all know how to apply that law. Application is something that we all need to know, and that is the only bridge that will connect these two worlds. So as a student, as a parent, as an educator, we all need to reflect where exactly we need to create this bridge. We just have a perception that humanities cannot be taught with medical science. So what is about psychology? Biology plus human science? Yeah? People are not interested in taking it up as a career when it comes to heritage learning. Then who will prevail it? And what are the SDG goals now? What is SDG 2030 goals? It talks about sustainability, it talks about prevailing our heritage, right? We belong to that particular country where we are blessed with enough of heritage. So many things to explore, so many things to know, but how? If I take a class in 4 walls, I'm just rendering, I'm just giving you the information which is already there in your textbook, which is already there on your, what you call it, the Google Baba, right? You know everything. So why are we required? It is just, I believe this, I don't know, it may not be your belief, but yes, I do believe in this, that it is just about humanizing your understanding. You know what is there, you have information, but how to transfer that information into application, in how you are going to apply this in real world, is something that an educator is doing. Here I say the line is connected between two worlds. Language has no barrier, right? When I was learning the language, I came to know we can learn more languages. It is not required that it should be mandatory. But yes, how about knowing different cultures? It is not a time where you become citizen of particular country. It is a time where you become a global citizen. And that is what International Baccalaureate is teaching more, right? But apart from that, we also have this in our root, in our culture, in our tradition, our Gurukul system. You need not to be just rote learners. How about developing vocational skills? I may not score 100 on 100. I may not be that good in academics. But what about me speaking these multi languages? How about me creating my preference wala job, or how about me creating my kind of, my space rather, I would say, my space of working. I don't want to work in the ethical ethos. Then what are ethics for? What are ethics for? Again, connecting ethics, traditions to the innovations. Think about these two different worlds, and between the world stands our own values. Right? If there is no ethic, there is no value, how you are going to continue? The cyber frauds that we are facing nowadays, the recent one which is talking about digital arrest, right? The more you use AI, the more you use the technology, of course there will be a limit. But to what extent you are going to extend this limit and how you are going to overcome this is something that your education will teach you. Education is not about collecting information. It is all about getting knowledge for the insight, for the innovations. 3 days back, in one of my lecture, I just asked my students, group of students rather, how do you define a leader? How do you define a leader? What kind of leader? I was teaching a topic on role of directors, and then I said, what kind of leaders do you look forward for? Everybody as usual answered, he should be compassionate, he should be honest, he should be communicate, he should be approachable, so many things. He should be passionate about his business, and many things more. Just one student told, ma'am, what I feel is he should be a person who understands his employee. And this has given, again, the entire discussion of the class just transferred. We were talking about something and it all transferred about the humanity, right? Empathy. Now this is where we call the space created. So I don't think that whatever era we go forward to will give us the two worlds, alignment. It is just about you knowing the fact and you knowing the difference. To end and to conclude, I will just like to say, if can be converted into invention where you can apply it to the real world, this two worlds, that is what the theme of today, right? The two worlds will never ever get connected. Request to not only educators but to the parents as well. Please focus more on the vocational skills, focus more on the ability of an individual. It is not required every time that the grades or the certificate matters. Of course, they do matter. It's not avoidable as well. But what matters more is the ability of a self person. Merci beaucoup.